Hello everyone, it's Sam the Reclaimer developer, and before I get into the meat of this video, I just want to say that I hope you and yours had a wonderful 2023 holiday season, however you chose to celebrate that, and I hope you had a great end of the year, and hope that 2024 you've had a great start to the new year. So what's been going on with the channel? I'm sure if you stay up to date on what I've been doing, you've been wondering what's going on since it's been about 6 months since I've made an update worth any substance. So, uh, to get it out of the way, still here. The Reclaimer is still an active project, and it's not going anywhere. It's going to be something that's going to take a long time, and sometimes I'm just going to have to take breaks from it. And that's what's been going on. So the biggest update I have is that back in October of 2023, my daughter was born. My wife and daughter are doing just fine. She is an absolute blessing, and so is her mother. And we've just been getting into our new routine. I've also mentioned that last year we also moved to a new city. And there were just a lot of life changes that happened all of a sudden. And while my daughter was planned, the move was not. It was just something that we just had to do to suit our own needs as a family. And since the move, the holidays have been kicking up, and I also been working on a lot of side projects, including a now that I have a bit more space to play with, I built a electric brewery in my garage. Like craft brewing is one of those things that I've always wanted to get into, and now that I've got the extra space, that's I've finally been able to do that. And I'll be making more videos on that if anyone's interested. But it was just an easy goal that I could set and complete from start to finish in a relatively short amount of time. And sometimes you just need an easy win for yourself, and that's exactly what I did. So, but I'm getting back into it now that 2024 is kicked off, and I've got some side projects out of the way, and we're settled into our routine. Um, we're getting back into development on the Reclaimer. So the biggest thing that I've been working on for the Reclaimer is the website. I know I've been saying it's coming for a long time, but currently the website isn't mobile friendly. It's like 99% of the way done. It just needs some finishing touches, and it also uses AI generated art just as a concept. And full disclaimer, there is no substitution for human intuition for creation or content creation of any kind. I believe that you should pay developers and artists exactly what they're worth. Don't seek to replace anyone with AI generation tools. That's completely unacceptable in this industry. But as a solo developer, someone who is a programmer and not an artist, I needed some way to sort of get the images that I was picturing in my head out of my head and into the real world. Something as like a frame of reference to start with. And I've just sort of been holding on to those. They fit well into the website. They capture the overall like vibe I was looking for, but they really need a human touch. And speaking of that, last year I reconnected with an old friend of mine from high school who is the most talented artist that I've ever had the pleasure of knowing. And we caught up at a games convention where arcade expo rather, where we reconnected with each other last year. And since then we've just been going back and forth pretty much every week on like game related stuff in the news and the media, game design type things, like from a programming perspective or artistic perspective. And a couple weeks ago I pitched to him the idea of, hey, I showed him the art for the website, and I was like, would you be down for potentially creating some assets for the website, commissioning those? And he was like, yeah, I'd be down for that. So nothing's official, that's like in the works, and he's been pondering over those. And I'll let him, if he wants to announce what he's doing. He it's his craft, so I'll let him talk about it as he wishes to or as he plans to. and it'll be him to up to him as to when he wants to talk about the work that he's doing in regards to the Reclaimer. So I'll just let him do that and not step on his toes. I'm also going to be starting a new series, one that I'm affectionately calling I Am Stupid. And what I mean by that is taking the time to do side projects and other smaller goals has given me a new perspective on how I would like the Reclaimer to be structured, how I want it to perform, and just mostly from a coding, like architecture slash engineering perspective. And in this I Am Stupid series, I'm just going to be going back and just fixing old mistakes, basically. Just redesigning things and coming up with to-do lists and just trying to do better by the project, right? So I may or may not try to stream that, but I'll be there hasn't been a whole lot of engagement in terms of like streaming, but I'll give it a shot and see if there's any interest there. So what's the end goal? So I say all that to come to this. What is the end goal? First and foremost, this is a project that is going to take time. It's a long haul project that is not my priority, if I'm being honest. The Reclaimer is a priority on this channel, but it's not a priority in my personal life, right? So I have a full-time job that is not working on this video game. I have a family. We've moved to a new city, new house, and as more important things come up, this is just going to get put on the back burner. That is just how it is and how it will be until maybe someday this could be a full-time gig. But the end goal is to produce a tangible demo to either investors or a team of people who may want to work on this. But the demo doesn't have to look good. It just has to play good. Last year, I came up with a list of goals around this time that I wanted to accomplish. Like there's things like physically based rendering and like sound assets and textures and a lot of like fancy bells and whistles. But I had this realization that the player rig, like how the player interacts with the game, like the third person over the shoulder camera, like picture, if you've played Dead Space, the Reclaimer, in terms of like its gameplay style, like how the camera's positioned, how the character moves about the world and interacts with things, the Reclaimer heavily takes inspiration from the game Dead Space, just in terms of a user interface perspective. And that is like 90% of the game right there. How the user is going to be experiencing that, and is it responsive? Is it predictable? Does the game behave in such a way that the player would expect when they use certain controls? Is it easy to control? And like how they move about the world and how the character responds when they do different things. That is 90% of the experience. And you don't necessarily have to have something that looks polished to achieve immersion in that regard. So the goal is to produce a tangible demo, and it doesn't have to look good. It just has to play good. And that is just going to take time. And given that I have so little to offer right now, I can't ask for money. And my big thing is I will never make a promise that I can't keep. And while I have a lot of ambition, a lot of goals that I want to accomplish for this project, I still can't make any guarantees as to when that's going to happen or, what that's going to look like. Someday there will be a merch store or a Patreon or something similar if people want to engage financially in that regard. But until then, the best thing that you can do is subscribe to my channel and engage with me on my social media outlets. Like, if you're watching this on YouTube, here's my channel. And I also am a regular poster on Reddit. I try to post and interact with people on like r/game dev, game engine developers, game design, and things of that nature. So the best thing that you can do is, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And for those of you who are subscribed, I think there's probably about 1 or 2 dozen of you at the moment. And that means so much to me right now. Just the fact that there's anyone out there who saw what I have to say and chose to stick around um, for anything else I may want to put out here, that does mean the world to me. And thank you so much for engaging with my content in my channel. Um, Again, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, because I plan to do as many regular updates as I can throughout the year of 2024. And again, I hope you're having a wonderful start to the new year, and I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.